welcome to another live edition of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, Wize, and I'm actually excited. My guest is running a little bit late, but that's cool. I get to talk about a little bit of Podfest. Yes, this past weekend well, a few days. I was out there a few days out in Florida, and had a great time, man. It was a wonderful experience as always. This is my second Podfest, and we just had a great time. Me and Poppy J just chilled. Um, just went and networked, man. We had a great time. We communicated with a lot of people. It was a wonderful experience. So I'm excited. Poppy's excited. He made a few connections. He's in the process of connecting with a few of them, and it was just a great experience. And my guest, it's crazy because I actually got to meet my guest that's coming on today. He was at Podfest. It was a great experience. And just let's see. Oh, what's going on, Ben? How you doing, brother? Uh, I need to get you some episodes of Poppy and Jay again. Why you haven't really been recording, but I'll get you to that. Get you some of that as soon as possible. As soon as we get back into the studio. Shout out to everybody at the BS3 Network. We are live on the BS3 Network. It's a Roku channel, so if you have a Roku and you want to catch us on BS3, check out all the other great shows on there. It's a great platform. So big shout out to BS3. Big shout out to the Chiefs and the Eagles, man, for the that's the Super Bowl matchup this year. Oh yeah, thanks, brother. Thank you. Yeah, Super Bowl matchup: Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm a PA, so even though I'm a Giants fan, I have to root for the AFC East. So let's go Eagles. I know, but I can't go against the NFC Beast, man. That is the name of the show we have. It's me, Big Ben, BS3 Network, Chief, um, Cool McCain, Sam Shady, Couch Coach, who's also stops by. It's the NFC Beast, so definitely got to root on for the Eagles. So okay, so at Podfest, there was some great lessons we learned. There's some classes we took. It was a great experience. I learned some new things that I'm start implementing and just learning how to network more, how to build a better community. Um, Even though the Stuck in My Mind community is growing, I love them. Everybody who comes through on the chat, everybody who's in the Real Watch Productions Facebook group, everybody who's watching us everywhere. Appreciate y'all. But it was just some things that we learned, and that's why you go is to, of course, you find that there's certain things you want to sit down and learn, and there's certain people you want to see talk and give their lecture or whatever it is. But it's also it's the in the hallways is where you really meet some great people. It's where you really start networking, start getting to speak to people, and just build some great relationships. So I'm excited for what's to come, especially with all the connections we made. What's going on, Snowman? How you doing, brother? Glad to see that you're killing it. You got the got a lot of shows coming up. You got a lot of shows going on. You got the Brian Snow show. You also have the Sports Samurais with my man Drew Willingham. You killing it, brother. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Just make sure you get your rest and do what you got to do, brother. All right, because I know you're ready to kick butt, but also take care of yourself. Got nothing but love for you, brother. Um, Big shout out to my man Cole Johnson, man. We got a new show, Mentality. It's out. We just released our second episode. You can catch it on Real Wise TV and Comey Media channel. Check it out. It's a great show. It gives me and Cole the opportunity to flex our muscle and show y'all what we got as well as besides sports. We don't really talk sports there. That's an outlet where it gives us opportunity to talk on other things besides sports. So it's check it out. It's a great show. I love it. I'm excited for what we have in store for everybody in this upcoming season. Yes, definitely. What else? Oh man, it was just a great experience, man. We drove actually me and Poppy J drove down. It was an experience, definitely driving down. I don't know if we'll do it ever again, but I did I actually recorded the second episode of Mentality while I was down there, which was released yesterday. Yesterday on both our channels. It was great, man. It was great to sit down and talk to a lot of people and rekindle some friendships that we had established from the first time, and then connect with some new people and really spend some time with people that are killing the industry, that know what they're doing, and being able to learn and speak to them and pick their brains. And it's what I think any independent podcaster really needs to experience is go to a convention, find a local convention near you. If you can't make it a podfest, find something that's near you, attend it, and start networking. I, I said this last year, and I'm gonna say it again. It's key. If you can't attend a podfest, they podfest actually travels around. They come around to your communities. They've been to New York, they've been to Colorado, they've been to California, Texas, Florida. So if you can find any local one and attend it, it's a great experience. It shows you that you're not the only one out there. There's plenty of people out there who are independent, who are learning what to do what we're doing, and it's a great experience. So definitely, anyone who gets the chance, definitely check it out. Oh man, yeah, it was great, man. It was a great experience. I'm excited. Like I said, it was crazy because I got to meet a couple of the guests that I had on my show in the past. I got to meet them in person. So big shout out to my man Vinny. Uh, it was great meeting, great chilling with you, meeting you, and everything. Got oh man, Stephanie McLaughlin definitely had a great time chatting with her, speaking, and for everyone who don't know, I was on her show, the 40 Drinks podcast, and she was on the show. I can't remember when, but definitely check out the episode that we have together. It was a great experience, man. Of course, my man Jeff Dewalskin was there. Second year, I got to chill with Jeff. Our goal is to have more of the people that we connected with on Facebook, that we have a big group that we want to make sure that they get out there eventually, man. We want to have people that we know come out and represent, because I think everyone should be able to experience this at least once and get to see that you're not here alone. You get to learn so much. You get to want to be a guest on my show. Yes, I know. Yeah, we discussed this, brother. I told you I said next Thursday. You said next Thursday that I was going to be on the show. So next Thursday it is, isn't it? Just let me know. Tell me the date, and I'll be there, brother. You know that. Always, always, always looking to chill with my brother. Have a great time with Snowman. We always chop it up. Um, Still working on getting Ben on the show. Definitely got to get Ben on the show. And that's one of the things for 2023. I really am focused on collaborating with more podcasters. That's something I need to. Yes, I love having the coaches and the trainers and everybody come on, but I definitely want to collaborate with more podcasters because I want to help uplift each other up. The more collaborations we do, the more eyes we get on us. It's always great to network and bring people on the show to just come on and build, man. That's what we're here for. That's what we're trying to do, is build a community and sustain that. So the only way we can do that is by uplifting each other, supporting each other. So if you have a friend that has a podcast, shout them out, share it. Share. It doesn't hurt to share it, man. Definitely doesn't hurt to share it. Like it, subscribe. Check out everything on the BS3 network. They have some great shows. Find them, subscribe to them, get notifications, everything. Same thing with Snowman Meet Multimedia. Check out Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Check out this the Sports Samurais with Drew Willie and my man Brian Snow. Go like that. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to my man. Oh, definitely gotta check out my man Cool McCain and his network. Check out everybody at Legacy. There's so many people, man. Definitely check out everybody at Shady Sport. It's just so many, man. My man Sam Shady got some great content. His blogs are amazing. He's an excellent writer. I'm definitely admire how he writes. And everybody that's over there doing what they're doing, just keep doing it, man. Just keep shining, keep killing it. What else is going on? That's about it. That's what was the fun part with of course there was always the new technology. I've learned about Chat GPT. Big shout out to my man Larry Roberts who gave the presentation on that. It was a great experience. So it's a tool that I'm gonna start using, and it's gonna help me write a blog. Yes, you heard it here. I will start writing a blog, and that's because I have to challenge myself. I said I'm not a writer, but I'm gonna challenge myself. So I'm gonna use that to help me with my. Not gonna you just give it ideas and take some of it and spice it up and use it up as and use mine. Just it's more like a reference point for me. It's just to help me because I have the ideas. I just don't know how to put a pen to paper. I guess because I can speak it. So maybe I should dictate it to something and have it write it out. Is there anything that can do that? Yeah, I think there's. You can also catch it on Snowman Multimedia. Yes. I'm on. Am I? Yeah, I'm on Twitch, LinkedIn, BS3 Network. Ah, here we go. There we go. What's going on?
Man, I was flying over here, bro.
It's all good, brother. So everybody, this is my guest tonight is a fellow podcaster. I actually got to meet him at Podfest. We had a great time chatting it up. It was a great experience. Welcome to the show, John Menendez. John
Manda.
Menendez.
There we go.
What's going on,
And
bro?
it's a pleasure to be here, man. It feels like just yesterday because it was just like the other day
It was just
that
the
we
other day,
met.
yeah. It was just the other day.
But yeah, Podfest was definitely a dope experience getting to see everyone in person, man. It definitely it's different putting a photo to like a human. Yeah, he's experiencing that.
So
It's still
it's funny because you're one of the few people that I actually got to meet first before I had on my show. So because it
really.
was fun, it was funny because we were sitting down and I saw your name. I says, yeah, what you doing on Tuesday at about 6 o'clock? You go, oh, I don't know. I think I got a show. And yes, you did. You did have a show. You was
Yeah.
a guest on. You were gonna be a guest on my show.
Yeah. Sheesh. It's definitely a small world, and it's funny. The only reason I came over is because my friend John was talking to your boy, and I was like, let me go hop over there. I don't got no one to talk to right now. And then next you know, and when you brought it up, and then check my calendar, I was like, oh, what the f, bro? You got we were connected before Podfest, and we were right in front of each other. And well,
Yeah,
I didn't recognize because I'm bad with names, honestly. So
it's all good. But no, it's so the reason I got you on the podcast and I got to really get to speak to you and all that is that you're only 21 years old, man, and you're very knowledgeable for someone your age. You know a lot. You honestly, I wish I knew some of the stuff you knew when I was your age, because but you're you're someone who's interested in learning about building wealth, building generational wealth, not just being rich. You want to learn how to, and that's something that I found interesting is that being someone so young, that's not something we're taught. So, what made you really want to learn about it? What intrigued you about this
so
topic?
for a little bit of context, for me, money was always tight. I grew up in the project. I told you when we met at Podfest.
Yeah,
But for your listeners, I'll share a quick story. I grew up in the hood. Money was always tight. We still have Section 8 to this day. Grandparents raised me. It was like 9 of us in a two-bedroom. Now it's just me, my grandparents, my sister, so it's only 4 of us now, but mom was never really me and her never had the best relationship. Dad was never really around growing up, and so, I didn't really have any role models to look up to. Money was always a taboo topic. It was not something that was ever discussed ever. I don't know anything about my grandparents' finances, and I didn't learn any of that stuff until I got older, and then I had to come on the lease because I was over 18, and with Section 8, everyone over 18 has to be on a lease so that they could, keep track of everything. And so that was not only it wasn't until a couple of years ago where I really knew, started learning about my grandparents' finances or anything like that. So money definitely wasn't a topic of conversation. Fast forward a little bit, my sophomore year, the pandemic, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was November of 2020, and that book, it was like a paradigm shifter, and it wasn't the world's greatest book, but it presented a new way of viewing the world in a way that was so easy to grasp. And I was curious. I was like, because the Poor Dad resonated a lot with how I grew up, how the people in my environment grew up, and the Rich Dad, I was like, man, that's something where it's like I want to learn more about, is it that something how people actually think alike? Is that, are there people actually out there like the rich dad? So I kind of jumped down the rabbit hole of learning into personal finance, looking into, how to build my credit, how to invest in index funds, which bank accounts I should use, things like that. And when I came back spring 2021 I mean, we're still at home taking online classes, but when I came back to school, class started, it's like I had seen the light. And then from there, I pretty much decided, well, while everything in the world at that time was pretty much uncertain, the only thing I knew for certain that was certain was myself. And so why not bet on myself? So I decided to stop taking my college classes, stop showing up, signed up for my real estate classes. And then from there, I never looked back. And that's what kind of got me into choosing, the idea of building wealth. And for me, I learned very early on that, wealth and riches are two very different things, and I've seen the spectrum of what wealth can do for you. I've, been fortunate to have friends who've had friends who pretty much my friend's dad, boss, back in 8th grade, had a summer house in the Hamptons in New York City or in New York. And so for anyone that doesn't know where that's at, super lavish, super luxurious place, a bunch of affluent people. Everyone over there got money. But then I also had know people that are doing 25 plus. So it's like, it just seeing that disparity and the difference, it's like it's a very thin line to walk because you could easily go, one way or the other, and they could end up really good for you, really bad for you. But having that awareness to know that there is a spectrum out there of people and on the wealth spectrum. And for me, it's not even about building generational wealth, but about building generational wisdom, right? Because the average inheritance only lasts 3 generations, right? But if you instill wisdom, if you instill something that can't be taken away, doesn't matter if my kids or kids have a lawsuit that wipes them out clean, they'll always be able to get it back. And it's really to prevent the old saying of the old African proverb, I believe it is, of hard times breed strong men breed easy time breed weak men, and then the cycle continues. So that generational wisdom is to help prevent that because a lot of times we get up in life and then we want our kids to have it easier than us and not go through what we had to go through, but it's like those are the same things that made us. So just trying to figure it all out and navigate is really what led me into this path of like financial literacy and building wealth.
And that's amazing. That's something that's very important. That's something, again, that's something that my generation wasn't taught. That was
Yeah.
something I'm learning. I learned later on in life. This is something that I learned my 30s, 40s. So for you to be able to start learning now and start investing in yourself now and developing that's good, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. And so, what made you want to start the podcast?
Yeah, so funny story, man. So I'll take it back a little bit. Back in spring 2021, that's when I decided to leave school, right? Around around August, I believe it was, of 2021. Me and one of the guys, you always hop on FaceTime, just talk about life goals, things we wanted to accomplish. And one day he was like, "Hey, bro, maybe we should start a podcast." And I was like, "You know what? That's not a bad idea." Long story short, he ended up going back to college, started his junior year. I ended up leaving school. So our schedules didn't match up anymore. He thought he was going to be too busy, which is totally respectable and understandable. And he ended up deciding not to move forward, but I still wanted to move forward. And after about 4 months of procrastinating, I finally came up with the name Walk to Wealth. The whole meaning behind the name, like I told you before, was for the 99% of us that aren't overnight sensations, it's a long walk to wealth. But some people may walk faster than others, and what good is sprinting to the finish line if you pass out when you cross it? So that's pretty much how the podcast came together. I knew I wanted a medium where I could document my journey in real time, but I hopefully at the same time inspire and educate other people my age, because a lot of people my age tend to be stubborn and stuck in our ways. And it's like, if you're older than someone my age, then it's like, oh, you don't understand, you grew up in a different time. Well, it's like all the people I'm trying to target are the same people I pretty much went to high school with or in that age group. So um, I was like, this is a great medium for me to get my voice out, get my message out there. And I always wanted to potentially get into public speaking in the future. So it was a long term play as well.
So, well, you're not that far from it. You're not that far from it. You're almost there where because you're speaking to a public now with
Yeah.
doing your podcast. So that's something I also had to learn, is that we're public speakers now, because we've reached thousands of people doing what we're doing. The only thing difference is they're listening through their headphones or wherever they're listening at,
Yeah.
instead of having them in a room. But if you think about it, we've reached thousands. So
Yeah.
sitting in a room of hundreds should be nothing, because we've reached thousands.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not the same thing, but it is not the
But you
same.
got to think. That's how you can't think. That's how you got to think about it, bro.
It is, but it's different when everyone's looking at you. I mean, so my second speaking of engagement was at Podfest, and a couple days before we met actually in person, and I think there was like 150 people in that room, and so just like you being up there, it's a different ball game, man. It's when you're podcasting, it's usually on a one-on-one, and then the message gets broadcasted to many. But when you're, traditionally public speaking, or it's like it's just one to many. There's no, buffer in between. The message is going
Okay.
straight to other people.
Well, we're live now, so you're kind of public speaking now live.
I can't see everyone though. They can see me, but I can't see everyone. It's not the same. When I can
I
see you
know, I know.
seeing me,
I
you
know,
know.
brother. I know. I'm just messing with you, but it's cool. But it. What did Podfest mean to you? Like, what did you get out of Podfest?
The biggest thing I really got is so Podfest for me it is really just a giant networking party with classes as bonuses. That's how I seen it. Like there's sometimes I just skip out on a session and just chop it up with someone that I came across and just go more in depth and really build rapport and build that, solidify that connection. There's a couple times where it's like um, I knew I had to be at one breakout, but I was like, I'm over here having a good conversation with someone, and just sometimes it's okay to skip session because sometimes some of the sessions like things you can hear like you find online. Some of the sessions were really really good, and then other time it's like your conversation is really really good. So it's like I could just probably find someone that went to that session and picked their brains, but for right now. I could just connect with this person and really reinforce the idea that you're only ever one or two connections away from where you got to be. And one of my big takeaways is if you have the money, pay to skip the line. Like, there's no need to try and figure it all out on yourself. Just find a top dog and whatever you want to do, and just pay them directly so you can skip the line and get access to their mentorship versus trying to do everything on your own.
And yeah, that's absolutely right. That's something you need to do, is invest in yourself, find a mentor, invest in a mentor, invest in a coach, because that's the only way you're gonna improve. Like you have to learn from somebody who's doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's some things you can learn on your own, but for the most part, you want to learn from people who's already doing it. So it's for me, it's when I first went like this was my second Podfest. And for my first one, I was like you. I was trying to get to the tracks, trying to get to breakout rooms and all this stuff, and see people speak. But then I started realizing that everything happens in the hallways. It's the
yeah,
connections, and so I made sure this year that I went to go see the ones that the tracks and stuff that I wanted to really see, and the speakers that I really wanted to hear speak. But for the most part, I spent a lot of the times in the hallway communicating with people, chatting, building relationships, building networking, w- one of the big things was the pod match community because we're both part of the pod match. We
Yeah.
both had a great time. We were both able to speak to Alex Sanfilippo and pick his brain because he's someone we want to emulate because he's doing some big things. He's created some programs to help podcasters find guests. That's how me and you matched up.
Hmm.
And but he's also someone who's willing to help you. He's someone who's willing to share what knowledge he has, and those are the relationships that you need to build and nurture.
Yeah, 100%. I actually spent a little bit more time talking to his wife. I was talking to
Alicia's
Alex.
Alicia's am- Alicia's amazing. Don't She is
Yeah,
amazing. She
she's
knows
dope.
her thing.
Yeah, I was talking to Alex, and then some other guy came and started talking to Alex. So I just started talking to Alicia, and then me and her just started chopping it up. And the other person was talking to Alex, and then after that, ended up meeting his editor guy.
Alex
Yeah, Alex is
Flores. Yes, big shout out to
yeah,
Alex Flores. I got to chat chop it up with Alex. He's mad cool.
yeah,
It was just these relationships that you build, and what like Larry Roberts. Big shout out to Red Hat Media. He's mad cool. But
yeah,
like you said, for you having these great conversations, do you see yourself is like when for me last year, as soon as I got back home, I started implementing a lot of stuff that I started learning.
yeah.
Were you the same way?
Yeah, so for me, I was trying to implement some of the stuff in my downtime because there are some times where I would just skip a breakout and just like sit down. Like, cause like it's a lot these conferences, and you get a bad night's sleep one night, and you still got 4 more days of conferences left. It's like it gets rough, and you just push it through towards the end of it. So it's like I would like in my downtime, like I applied to put my podcast on IMDb. There's another one called Ghana, like GANNA, and a couple other directories that I got from that are free to hop on that I got from a class. Um, One of the other things too, I started reaching out. So one thing I do after, networking conferences or anything like that is I just send video messages to everyone that for the most part, either got their phone numbers and contact information. I just send them a quick video message, and then just try to connect with them for the ones that I'm like didn't plan on collabing with going in. For the ones I plan on collabing, it's like I'll just send them a quick, video reminder, like, "Hey, just wanted to catch up. Hopefully you got home safe," things like that. And then honestly, I still have to go through some of my notes, but for the most part, I guess I've been mainly spent the past couple days really just connecting with the people, not going through my notes yet. I still need to go back through my notes and, see figure out which parts I'm gonna do. There's a couple really good ones. The guy from Pod Business School, he was dope. I forget his name, but he had a really good presentation. The guy, Master Shri is like Shri something. He is like a big YouTube guy. He had a turban on. He's a yogi with the Lamborghini is his name. Um, I know, right? And so he had some really good social media advice. And then there's a couple other people that really give some good, solid, practical advice that I got in my notebook here, literally right in front of me. I just got to go through it. I just spent the past couple days just reconnecting with everyone that I touched base with.
Oh, now me, it was I started making reels and stuff with the pictures that I took and all that, and started posting that and started sharing that. And some of the stuff I started learning, I started just implementing, just started using stuff and learn and realizing it was one of the things one of the ladies that I actually got to speak to her after I saw her course. And because she was sitting down with one of my friends and one of his friends, and she made a lot of sense with what she was saying because I got I have my podcast going in so many different things right now. And she's like, sometimes you need to scale back. So that's something I'm working on where eventually I need to stop giving away so much free content. Eventually I have to do something to the point where yeah, you can give out some free content, but some of it you have to hold back.
So I have a pretty interesting different perspective on this one.
Right.
So here's from what I learned from people like Russell Brunson and other people that I've known. So pretty much you want to sell the concepts and the ideas and give out all that stuff for free, and you want your free stuff to be better than people's paid stuff. And then the actual tactics, the step by step,
Yeah.
that's the stuff you wanna hold to yourself so that well, not really hold to yourself in terms of, like, keeping it a secret, but, like, put behind a paywall, because some people want a little bit of hand-holding, and so you'll hold the hands of the people who pay, but you're not gonna at least from what I've been taught, you, um, don't put a barricade in front of the access to the information, because from anything that you do that's free, only about 10% of those people are actually gonna do anything with that information, and
Yeah.
from that 10%, only about 10% of those people are actually gonna do it well. So for
Yes,
the
but there's certain things like when I mean scale back, it's not what I'm doing. It's because LinkedIn is something I really need to start focusing on, working on more because those are some relationships you can really build some great relationships from LinkedIn.
yeah,
Um, what I'm saying is stop trying to focus more like as far as Facebook goes.
yeah,
It's not really helping me generate anything, right? So yeah, I'm gonna still put some stuff out there on Facebook, whatever, but I'm gonna focus more on LinkedIn as
yeah.
far as where to build up my networking and where to build up the relationships I want to build up on.
Yeah. No, definitely. I had to scale back on like posting. At one point, I was doing like 3 reels a day, almost every day, consistently. Like I was posting a ton of content, and I was posting on Instagram, on YouTube, and Facebook, and TikTok, and all that stuff. And I was getting a bunch of likes and views. But well, on TikTok, I wasn't getting much of any traction at all whatsoever. But all the other platforms, I was doing pretty well. And then all of a sudden, I checked my podcast downloads and it's like nothing was changing. My numbers were actually going down. And then once I stopped doing that, posting all the reels, my numbers didn't change at all. So like I was spending all this time posting all these reels and all these clips, and my social media following was growing, but people weren't checking out the podcast. So I was just like, man, let me dial back. And then it wasn't until I started guesting on shows where my show actually finally started growing. It took me a minute for me to realize if I would have known that sooner, I would have stopped posting all them reels and I would have just got to guesting and doing other stuff.
Because that's how you build your audience is you going on other shows and then other audience members hear other audience hearing you and like, okay, I like what he's spitting. Let me check out his show. And that's how you build it up. Like it took me time to build up my audience. It built some time, but at the same time I'm collaborating with everybody. I'm like right now, me and you collaborated.
Yeah.
There's someone else that I met at Podfest that I'm collaborating with. There's people in the chat that I'm always collaborating with. And that's how you build up those relationships, but it's also how you build up your audience. Because
Yeah.
it's that you're reaching out to their audience. And if their audience is feeling you, they're gonna come check out your content.
Yeah.
And then that's how it goes. You have to be out there promoting yourself. You have to be out, you're a brand now, so you have to go out there, not expect everybody to come to you. You have to go out and put yourself out there to everybody else.
Yeah. And it's all about, finding people that are already kind of in alignment for you, like with yourself. It's like a lot of people just do things for the likes or the followers, but it's like you're gonna attract the wrong crowd. Not saying a bad crowd, but just not the ideal crowd that you're looking to get. And so being intentional with like the people you collab with, be intentional with the people you reach out to, be intentional with the people, with the things you post and everything. All that plays a factor because it's all is about the law of attraction, right? It
Mhm.
all starts off with, your your frequency, right? The energy level that you're operating at. And then from there,
Yeah.
if you at a level where it's like people on that level is talking about the topics and things that you're talking about, then you're probably gonna start getting into people that are actually in alignment with what you got going on. And those collaboration are gonna be the ones that are worth, its weight in gold. And other ones, it's like you're gonna spend some time and you're not gonna really get much out of it.
Oh no, and you're absolutely right. And that's why the the connections that I've been making have been great because of the energy that I'm putting out there. It's the vibe that I'm putting out there is and those so the conversations that are meant to happen are happening for that exact reason, the law of attraction. When
Yeah.
you start putting out that energy that these are the people I want to talk to, those are the people you're going to end up talking to. Those are the people they're gonna come. You're gonna attract into your life. You have to, in order to communicate with the Alex Sanfilippo's and the Bob Doyles and all these other people out there. You gotta put that energy out there. They're not gonna come into your life. The vibration, if the vibration isn't the same, they're not gonna want to mess with you.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like realizing that you have to show up sometimes, and opportunity will present itself. But if you're not, I feel like, well, first of all, there's opportunities everywhere. We're just not smart enough usually to recognize them. Like we could be both making $1 billion right now, both of us, but we're not smart enough to recognize the opportunities right now to do it. But there's other people who are smart enough to do so. Doesn't mean that we're dumb. It just that means we just got to start building, our connection. We just have to building our wisdom, building our knowledge, so that we can start recognizing more and more of the things. Because may see, you know, uh, one guy may see lemons and see lemonade, and another guy may see lemons and may think of some lemon zest chicken or something like that. It's like something more exquisite, right? It's the same ingredient, but the more knowledge you have, the more ways you'll be able to use that same thing that a lot of people don't have.
And that's something that I feel that people lack is investing in themselves.
Yeah.
Is wanting to spend the time to learn. It like me wanting to do video and edit video and edit audio, and I have to actually do it, but I also have to, I'm saying, learn tips, learn from courses, learn from somebody who can help me cut time off of from doing that and help me build up that skill so that now I can offer that to someone else. Now I
Yeah.
can offer that talent to someone else because now I've been working mastering my craft. I've been When I first started, I was the one editing all my podcasts.
Yeah.
I was the one taking out the breaths, taking out the extra air, or everything. But look, these are skills you learn because now people are like, oh, I heard your podcast. That shit is crisp. Yo, what's up? Let me here's some dollars. Here's some money for you. And that's how I started making some money, was editing other people's podcasts.
That's crazy. Like,
That's
and
with
it's something where it's like, it's a skill that sometimes you need to learn and get good at, but then also it's a skill that you said you used to edit all of them. I'm assuming now you leveraged out, right? Because now you're doing other tasks, I'm assuming.
No, because now I do live. So
Oh,
so
okay.
now that it's live, it happens. I'm not what it happened. I'm not gonna Why am I gonna edit what happened already? People already
Yeah.
seen it. So
That
I take the audio from this recording and I just
yeah.
upload it.
Yeah. That's
That's it.
dope. That's dope. And for me, I something that I want to get into a little bit more, just recording my podcast and going live. The only thing is like sometimes with certain guests, it's like I haven't got too good of a feel yet. So it's like it still gives me that buffer
So
that
do you use a calendar to book your guests?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, all the time.
So are your hours the same?
My hours in terms of like booking or
Recording. Hours recording.
for I mean the slots are the same. It's usually Tuesdays and Thursdays from like anytime between 12 and 7. I just let someone pick.
So
Assuming I don't have any other priorities.
so now this is what you should do. Zero it down to one time and make that time you dedicate that time to your specific recording time. That's your recording time, right?
Yeah.
Because now with you, because this is something I learned with me having given them so many options. Now I have to wait till somebody fills in slots for me to fill in my other plans. What else do what other things do I have to get done throughout the day?
Yeah.
So that way now I know 5 and 6 PMs are the only times they can choose to record a show.
Mhm.
So it's either gonna be 5 PM or 6 PM. Everything else now I can start scheduling. All right, now I can focus this time on doing my reels or editing this or
Yeah.
doing focusing on my SEOs or focusing on my next week's shows, getting my thumbnails ready. So now instead of giving them all that time to choose, you dictate the time. Hey, this is the time I really want to record now. They pick that time. And now you can schedule whatever else you have to schedule around that.
Yeah. And that's some solid advice because I've been trying to like for me the progression was right. So I found out about like Podmatch and like Guestio and all these different things all at the same time. So like September of last year, I was swamped with interviews. My time was all over the place and nothing was structured. And slowly but surely I started dialing back, dialing back, dialing back. So now it's only on Tuesday and Thursday. So I know like Tuesday and Thursdays I'm just gonna spend those days because that's also when I schedule my guest interviews for the most part when I'm being a guest,
Yeah,
right? So it's like I just schedule all my personal interviews for my show and all my guest interviews where I'm being interviewed for Tuesday and Thursday. So I don't know, at Tuesday and Thursdays, I just gotta show up and talk my butt off. That's it, man. Just show up
yeah,
and talk for the most part. So that Monday I usually do like admin stuff. Wednesday and Friday I take care of whatever it is that I plan to take care of for the most part. But Monday is usually admin stuff because I be chilling. I'll be taking it a little bit more lax to get, show notes, little stuff like that. Just because I can't, I'm not at a place to hire it out yet monetarily.
of
Um,
course, yeah,
but and then Tuesdays, Thursdays, show up and talk for the most part. Wednesdays and Friday, take care of whatever I gotta take care of. And then Friday evenings, Saturday evenings, and then sometimes Sunday brunch, I work at the restaurant, and that's what keep me afloat for the time being. But as my show starts to grow, I'm actually gonna plan on I started a marketing agency last year for social media. I've been teaching realtors social media for a minute. I think I was telling you a little bit about my
yeah,
last class that I taught on ChatGPT. That class got like 300 people to sign up. I'm actually gonna partner up with So I know the president of my local board of realtors.
yeah.
So I actually was just on the phone this morning with the her assistant to get something scheduled for the entire board, which has like close to 900 realtors. I'm not sure how many of them are gonna sign up. I never done something for them. I know their email list does have 900 realtors in the board, so they're gonna go out to everyone and just teach that same class as the last time over again, and then I'm gonna upsell to a workshop, which is the same exact workshop I did last time, with just with some more tweaks and stuff like that. And I may try to turn that into a business. The content creation services that I tried to do last time, that was a dub because I'm already creating content for myself. I don't really enjoy doing that for other people, but I enjoy teaching. I love speaking to people. So these classes that I do were super. It's fun for me, and like monetarily, I made after last class more money and then I do in 3 months of working at the restaurant. So it's like, okay, maybe I have to come at this from another angle, and then I could do that to again allow me to escape the restaurant, and then give me a little cushion so I could start that, maybe turn it into a course, and then from
Maybe
there
or you're gonna turn it into a
I'm
course.
I'm going to turn it into course. Actually,
Okay, so yes,
ma
I'm
so
saying,
I'm actually already so I was on the phone literally this morning, with this one guy. There's this thing called InfoStack, and what it is pretty much they create a bundle, and they have different people that are contributors that offer up their courses or stuff like that, for free to the bundle. But then you get access to close to pretty much their email list, which has 300 to 600,000, and
okay,
so it's like assuming maybe 1% of that even signs up for my course, that's building my list like several thousand people right
yeah,
there, right? Assuming 1%. And so it's like I got off the phone with him, so I got to put that in overdrive. And so here's one thing that I learned from Podfest. There's this thing called Udemy, which is like for
mhm,
courses or whatever.
yeah.
Just find a
I use
social
that.
media.
I
Yeah.
use that to as for 'cause I take a voiceover course as well
Yeah.
to help me with breathing and all that because that's something I want to get into is doing voiceover work. Uh, so Udemy is the course that I take. This take what I'm taking because I love watching Think Media is one of the channels
Yeah.
on YouTube that I'm always watching, and I subscribe to whatever some of the courses that they provide, as well as ET's ET Eric Thomas's
Yeah. Hip hop
he-
preacher.
yeah, but he had the people around him. He has people that work with him that they provide the other courses as well, like Carl and Nikki and all of them. They do the social media aspect of it, the YouTube, the Instagram, all these other. And so to and again, that's the only way you're gonna improve is taking these courses.
Yeah.
And then eventually, yeah, maybe you help and you design your own course. You take some of the stuff you've learned and make it your own, and you design your own course to help people learn things.
Yeah. And it's all about like modeling success. Like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And pretty much like for my plan was going to be pretty much find a couple courses on repurposing content and how to properly repurpose content. I already know how to repurpose content for my own podcast. I just happen to know realtors, so I know how to speak to them. So it's like I was going to create a course pretty much teaching realtors how to repurpose content. And now it's like I'm do that course. I sell one or two of them a month. And now I'm making pretty much what I make in at the restaurant. I sell like two or three a month, and I'm making what I make in a restaurant in a month off of a few courses. And so now the return on my time just multiplied, God
So
knows how
yeah, so now
much.
if you can make it consistent where you're doing 4 or 5 courses a month, you're selling 4 or 5 courses a month now,
Yeah.
and that consistent now, you can actually go, you know what? Yeah, it's time for me to say goodbye to the restaurant because now I can focus full time on building these courses and building you have to definitely build your email, build it,
Yeah.
but it's the networking. You have to build your network.
For
And when you do that,
Yeah, for me, my angle is probably gonna be more so just build it enough to leave the restaurant so that I can then focus going all in on growing the podcast. Because I don't want the social media thing, because the social media thing isn't, I want to say is directly in alignment with what I got going on with the podcast. And so it's like doing that just to keep me afloat while I go all in. Because I'd probably, if I turn that social media thing into a business, I could probably per month get back close to like 30 hours at 30 to 40 hours per month I could probably get back. If I were just to stick to creating courses, which pretty much an entire work week I would get back if I were to leave the restaurant and focus on doing the courses enough to keep me afloat. Um, and then that way I could just spend even more time trying to grow the show, optimizing the show. And then if I wanted to scale up a little bit, I'd probably just scale up to the point where I'm probably making double what I make in a restaurant. So then I
yeah.
can hire out a VA to help me with my podcasting stuff. So I can focus more on just creating content for that and doing my 20% and hire out, use the money from the social media courses to leverage out all the day-to-day admin tasks.
Oh, see, you got a plan. You got a plan. Don't worry, that's good.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a plan.
Yeah. Cause for me, it's like I got a skill set. The podcast I can't really monetize just yet. So it's like, or like at least not really monetize in the way I would like to monetize just yet. Right. And so it's like, well, I have the skill set that I can already monetize right now. Leverage the skill set I already have. I'm
Hmm.
not going to try and get romantic with it and trying to be like, oh, I have to make the podcast away. The podcast, once that grows, the people in that community will tell me what they want, and I'll just create what they want. But for
Yeah.
the time being, because I don't know what the community wants yet, because I haven't yet cultivated that community to where it needs to get to, where they even trust me enough to tell me what they want. I'm just going to use the skills that I have to help teach the realtors that I already know, turn that into something. Um, and then from there, start using that money, that access to go all into growing a show, building it, cultivating that audience, reaching out to, higher level guests and slowly but surely like making my way into breaking into the upper echelon of the podcasting realm.
See, that's good. That's good. So, all right. So now it's time where you get to plug away. You get the screen to yourself and let everybody know where they can find your content, where they can find your YouTube channel, everything.
Yeah. So if first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity, brother. It was definitely a great time chatting with you. For anyone that found any value or found, anything I said to be interesting, you could find me at www.walktowealth.com. That's www.walk number two wealth.com. That's where you can find me on everything. That's how you can check out the podcast. All my social links are connected from there. And that is the best play to get in touch with me, and I'm going to be having like a feature on there where you can reach out directly to me from there. But Walk to Wealth on everything is where you could find me.
All right. Thank you, brother, for stopping through, man. I greatly appreciate it. Don't leave just yet, though. Me and you're gonna chat a little bit after we end the recording. But I appreciate you coming on, man.
Anytime, brother. I appreciate the opportunity.
It's always a pleasure, man. All right, so now it is time for shout outs. Big shout out to my real wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady, Fina. Love you and appreciate you, baby. Big shout out to our guest, John Mendez, for coming through and dropping some gems. Young man has some jewels, people. So definitely go check out what content he's putting out there because he is someone that is knowledgeable, for such a young age and to know what he's talking. Definitely go check him out and show him some love. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know your boy Wise does it. Peace out.